It has been a while since I was out here and filmed an update, so I was out here doing some work today. So I decided to grab the camera and show you guys how things are coming along. This area doesn't look much different. You know, this is where the greenery was there. Chicken coop was here. Do have a couple of maple trees coming up now though. Planted a couple of oak trees in here as well. But here's a couple baby maple trees that are just starting to come up. So that's some good news. There wasn't many maples on this property. And Jessica definitely likes the maple for their fall color. Got a few pieces of equipment over here yet. The old car, fuel oil drum, and the pen. Got a load of concrete here. And this area here is where the barn used to sit. Can't even tell, these weeds are so tall. We had a big storm that came through, actually knocked out the power on 3 of my live cameras in Edenville. The whole Edenville township pretty much went down, so were some pretty heavy storms. This concrete though, when we go to start building our house, is gonna go to Fisher Contracting. So they're gonna go ahead, haul that out of here and crush it back up into concrete to make gravel driveways. There was one tree that did fall down over here, that popple tree. I just got done cutting that up. Fell right here in the kind of turnaround spot that I made. So it's a big pile of brush here. Probably will burn that next year during the winter time, because hopefully in a couple of years this is right where I will be putting the pole barn. Corn is getting very tall. We'll see that when I get over here on the other side. Here you can actually see how much water we did get the other day. This is all flooded out. This was a low spot though, right here by the corn. Corn is all tasseled out now. We got a couple cobs coming in there looking nice. But this, for those of you that don't know, is not sweet corn that humans eat. This is field corn. So this is for cattle generally to eat, horses, any livestock. Out here is where the house is going to be building. So we're going to be building the house right over in here. I do have a couple cameras set up taking time lapse. This one is actually looking for deer though. Looks like the deer like to follow this kind of area here. So been kind of taking pictures of those and seeing what we got on the property. But I have a couple cameras all the way around where we're going to be building a house, and those are taking pictures every hour. So for the last couple months they've been just taking pictures of the weeds grow, but very soon they'll actually be getting a time-lapse video of the house being built. So I'm gonna kind of walk over here now and show you guys where the house is gonna be built. And it's been quite the process. Right now we are waiting for the appraisal to come back. After that appraisal comes back though, we should be going ahead and signing a contract with the builder. We already have the plan finalized. So just kind of seeing what the appraisal comes back for the land and the house, and then we can go ahead and start the build process. So it has taken quite a while, but we are in the home stretch now. It's actually going to be probably where the driveway comes in. Have a few of the corner stakes of the house marked out. So this will be the garage area here. It's kind of hard to tell, but I will be going over the plan very soon with you guys. We actually ended up angling the house a little bit. We're going to be building a pond back there. So now the house is kind of angled back towards that pond area. We'll be letting this farmer, this is our property here too, we'll let him farm a little bit back here behind the house as well. We don't need this much grass to be able to mow, but we're definitely going to be keeping an area over here looking back to the pond that's all grass, planting trees all around the house. Again, these are kind of the corner stakes of where the house is. Those two short ones there are where the front door will be, and driveway would come in right from here, circle up around the front of the house we're thinking, and exit out that way. So that'll be where the pole barn is, over in that direction. So it'll be nice to be able to kind of just pull through here if we ever get a fifth wheel and pull that right through into the pole barn. This driveway that we're planning on bringing in over here is definitely getting grown up. I did go ahead and weed whack a little bit of a trail. But yeah, we're coming up on fall time frame here, so it's going to be getting really busy. Hunting season's just around the corner. Really busy filming all the work that's happening at all the dams right now. So it's definitely a busy time in our life. This area is right where that driveway is going to come in from, that road over there. Can't even see it, but there is a road right there. A lot of stumps in here yet from when we cleared this trail. The excavator company will come in and they will go ahead and remove all these stumps, shove them in a little tiny, I don't know if you'd even call it a pond, it's kind of like a little mud hole over there. So we're going to shove as many stumps as we can over in that hole, cover it up so that we don't have a mosquito breeding ground, and then have a nice driveway that comes right in here, right up towards the front of the house. A lot of people have been wondering why we did not build in the woods though. We have all this woods here, and why did we not build the house in that woods? Well, that's a good question. The best answer I can say is that we are going to be living here. This is our forever home. So we have many years to be able to wait for trees to grow. I also don't like the maintenance of living really close to woods. They ruin foundations of houses. They get in the septic tank, plug up the septic system, the field. And generally it's just easier to build in this nice open field that we already had here. Yeah, we're losing a little bit of money from the renter since we're not renting this anymore, but we'll have a nice big yard. Where I grew up, we always had a nice big yard to be able to go hit baseballs in the front yard. Lots of open area with trees, and then we can just pick what trees we want planted around the house now. So probably go with mainly paper birch, maple, and oak trees. The oak trees will probably put more on the outsides of the grassy area because they will drop acorns and they'll create a little bigger mess than the maples. Of course, I've already said that Jessica loves the maple trees, so we will have mostly maples around closer to the house, and then a couple paper birch up by the house too. There are a couple paper birch growing out there by the road. So they do grow well in this area. Have been told by a few people though that they get a borer. It's I think a silver borer or something like that is in them right now. So of course we have lots of borers. A lot of ash trees that are dead in here. You can see all the dead is from the ash borer that came in here and knocked those out. But the ash trees are rebounding, so you know, we'll go ahead. We're going to plant paper birch trees. Definitely like them better than the river birch. Just the bark looks a lot nicer. So if they do come in and a borer takes them out, then I guess we'll be replanting them or replanting them with maple trees. So that's kind of the general plan of the area. The next time I will be filming an update though, we will be breaking ground here. I promise you that. I will not film another video until the excavator is here, digging out the foundation, digging the pond, making the driveway here. And that's going to be an exciting time. Finally getting this project started. You know, maybe I can even talk the excavator company into letting me dig a little bit. I'm pretty familiar with that kind of equipment. We use Dad's John Deere tractor all the time. It has a backhoe on the back of it, so it's kind of about the same kind of philosophy on how it works with that articulating hydro arm. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, throw the drone up in the air now, and we'll get a couple videos of the whole area, maybe show you the corn. We have the small woods over there that we own as well. That's starting to really grow up. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm pulling the pictures off of the trail cameras that I have filming the time lapse in the area right now. So I'm gonna go ahead, pull those pictures off those trail cameras, and maybe I'll show you guys the view once you get down in there. I know it doesn't look like much, but once you get over in there, where kind of between the pond and where the house is gonna be, these weeds are probably 6 to 8 feet tall. You can't even really tell how tall these weeds are. Perspective-wise, there's nothing to really tell. But I'm gonna go ahead, head over that way now, and throw the drone up in the air. We'll cut to a couple drone videos and then catch back up with you guys when I'm out there filming. We'll jump into some of this aerial drone video now. You can see all this area here. On each side of this ditch is the corn, looking nice, lush and green. Looks like there's a little bit of a dead spot with water in it over there on the right hand side. And right here in this lime green color is where we didn't have the farmer plant this year. So we weren't really sure where we wanted the pond, where we wanted the house at. So we said just kind of stop in this area until we get that decided. Right here, this darker green square is where we plan on building the house. I'll drop in altitude a little bit further, but I was kind of out here. I'm always flying the drone for a reason at the property. They're looking at which way we have the house situated, what angle the driveway is coming in on, or where exactly the pond is located. So that's kind of what I was out here looking at today. So right here is the driveway that's going to be coming off this road, and just kind of seeing how that's going to line up with the house. So I did cut down, I believe, one tree right here on the corner. We want the driveway to kind of come a little bit more towards the front of the house now instead of coming in at an angle. We were looking at putting the house directly parallel with the roadway. Now we're going to angle it a little bit towards the pond. So I think that will look a little bit nicer, be able to see it off the back porch a little bit more. All the orange flags down here are where the house is going to be located. So I was trying to line up the pond with the corner of the house on this day. I did get out there and was able to find the rest of the stakes for the pond. So I tried staking those a little bit better, but still not really easy to see. We can see a couple of those flags right here at the bottom of the screen. That's one side of the pond. And then over here on the other side, exiting the screen right here on the bottom right, is the other side of the pond. So it's really hard to see from the air, but I figured out how to kind of better visualize that a little bit later on. This is flying from one side of the pond to the other, still kind of trying to line it up with the corner of the house. And in this view, it doesn't look very well lined up, but when we get a little bit higher perspective, I think it's in a good spot. I'll actually probably also cover the rough layout of the property, where the house is going, where the pond's going, visually with my video editing software a little bit later in this video. And this is the small woods on the other side of the ditch. This is where my dad and I were going through a little bit of the dirt, separating out some of these logs from the dirt. And we actually found an apple tree growing over there as well. Lots of blackberries, lots of raspberries. Now up at 400 feet in altitude with the drone, and this is my better way of visualizing it. I took my truck out there, went around the outline of the pond a couple times with that, and now we're definitely able to see a really nice outline of the pond. Also, can barely see kind of an outline of the house where that's going to be located. But you can actually see the corner of the house. Right here, I'm flying from one corner of the house, right there in that green triangle, over to the pond, just kind of lining things up. And it looks like it's angled pretty well in the center of the pond. So I think we're good there. That's how we wanted it to look. And you'll see that actually, like I just said, I'll go over the rough outline. Again, up at 400 feet in altitude with the drone, just kind of taking in the whole area here. You can see some of the woods up towards the top of the screen, and then the field over here on the bottom. Looks like it's pretty easy to see where the area goes from being clay to where the sand hill is. That's our reasoning for digging the pond, though, is we're going to be using all that sand from over there out of the pond and filling that around the house as well as the driveway location. So let's jump into that quick outline of the house now. Here's kind of a quick layout of the property. So we've seen a lot of this from the aerial view. This is actually a view that I made for Consumers Energy to bring our power in. So this is kind of what I had planned, bringing in the poles and then going underground to the house. So I was doing some measurements on them. Hopefully this mouse is big enough that people are able to see it. I know the last time I used OBS and was trying to change some settings with the cursor, that didn't really work. I know Juan Brown also was having some issues saying that OBS downsizes the cursor, and it did for me too up until I made it like size 10. There's not really any middle ground. It's either super tiny that you can't see it or really huge like I have it now. So this is kind of the plan. We're going to bring in the gravel driveway over here. Like I said, kind of loop it up around in front of the house. This white blob here is the house. Curl it around, and then we can have it come this way as well. This is the planned position of the pole barn in the coming years that I plan on putting that there. We have a side-loaded garage, so this is kind of the concrete approach for that garage. And this is the house. I'm not going to get into any details on the house here, but it is a 2-story. I'll go over some of the more details of the actual house plan, maybe further on into the build, but we have a nice back patio as well. Probably put the septic field right in here. Keep it as far away from the trees and the forest as possible. Thought of another reason why not to build right next to the woods up close, because then you got to get up there and clean the gutters, clean the leaves out of the gutters all the time. So
kind of an area there that we're going to be putting grass, all this green. And then, of course, it's going to be a really big yard. We don't have any things put on here for where we're going to be planting trees yet. But this is the area that we plan on putting the pond. Over in here, this is where most of that sand was, back over here in the corner. So now kind of comparing this to my drone view, where I kind of went around it with my truck and made that circular outline. Definitely looks pretty close to this. Might have a nice little beach area on the pond. But this is the shape that Jessica wanted. She didn't want it a nice circular oval. We kind of want it flat on the front side and come out a little bit further on the back here. If we don't have enough fill for the driveway as well as around the house, we can go ahead and extend this pond out further as well. Most of that sand ridge is back in here. So that is a broad overview outline of kind of what we're planning with the site. I'm sure this will change once we start building. Let me know if you guys have any other suggestions as well. If you think that we are messing something up, that we're not doing something right, maybe an oversight that you may catch. It looks like we do have the corner of the house kind of angled directly at the center of the pond as well. So that's what I was out here looking at what I was doing with the drone today. So I think we accomplished that. Now you guys know what we have in the plan though.
Well, this is one area that I had a trail camera set up, but the tree just kind of shows the storms that we had fell over. So right there is the trail camera. Here used to be the tree. It was a dead tree, but it just completely popped right out of the ground right there, tipped over. So I guess I'll be moving this trail camera over to that tree now to get the view of the house over there. Got a couple of grapes though. Look at all these grapes we got growing here on this grapevine. Definitely finding a lot of stuff that this property is providing. There's blackberries and raspberries growing all over the place, some over there in that small woods and some up here. So pretty interesting, just kind of exploring this property and seeing what it provides. I'm gonna go ahead now and move this trail camera over to there though now, and then we'll go ahead, venture back and check the rest of the trail cameras. Just got done pulling the pictures off this trail camera. I'm gonna start heading back up to the front of the property now, through all these weeds. I'm sure there's a lot of people in the comments that'll probably say, well, you shouldn't be telling people that you have all these trail cameras out on your property. But the fact of the matter is, if I'm telling you about these ones, how many other trail cameras do you think that I have around this property that are motion detection that people won't find? So I don't think people would rather risk coming out here and stealing one trail camera for the fact that they're probably going to be on video doing it on one of the other ones that they don't end up finding. I did go out here and I found all the stakes for the four corners of the pond. Very hard to see. Maybe if I pick the camera up, we can see this is the edge of this pond right here. There's the far end over there, and I can barely even see it, but I don't know if this is the edge of the grass up here or the edge of the pond. We'll keep walking this way a little bit further, but I was able to find all of those corners. We did have just some really short stakes on them, and as you can tell right now, pretty hard to find. I was able to find the two over here though, this corner, and then I knew how far apart the other ones were, so I was able to pull out a measurement and kind of get a feel for where the other ones were and start searching for the final stakes. Usually I do drive my truck out here through this though. I think this is actually kind of usually where I drive, right through here. A little wet today though. I don't want to sink. Field's a little soft to be driving in. But yeah, this area here, this is actually the other end of the pond. So I put this stake and then I tied a few other orange ribbons on some of the weeds around it to be able to see it. But there's that far side, the other side over there, and right here is I believe that is the corner of where we were going to plant grass. We extended that out a little bit further now though. We're going to plant grass right up to the edge of the pond and put a little beach area on there too. I'll actually kind of show you the schematic and talk through that as well. Maybe you guys can tell me if we're making any mistakes by what we're doing. Definitely is going to be a very big yard though. Oh, there's all the doves. Probably will definitely need a 0-turn mower to cut it all. But yeah, this I believe was the other edge of the pond. So I still haven't found the corner of the property. Or no, this is actually the corner of the grass where we're going to be planting it. Could tell because I put stakes actually on the corner of the property where we're going to cut grass up to. And on the other side, they just have one of these orange stakes. So the close side of the pond is got to be right in here somewhere. I'll just pick the GoPro up. Maybe you guys can pick it out and see the orange flag. But this is actually where I've been driving the truck through. You can see the weeds are a little bit shorter right through here. Yeah, you know what I mean though with these weeds. I mean, look at the size of this one. That's got to be 8 foot tall. And these were taller. A lot of them looks like they have died and are starting to fall over, go to seed. Not quite sure what these are. Some kind of weed. Definitely a lot of them out here, a lot of different varieties. Making some great habitat for all the animals that are living in here right now. Did see a couple of cottonwood trees as well. So, you know, they're growing on the lake bed, as well as they take root pretty easily in this farm field and start growing right away as well. We will not be planning on growing any cottonwood trees in our yard. I think that one might be one cottonwood tree. It's either a cottonwood or a popple. And then we have some popple trees up here. There goes all the doves again. I cannot wait for hunting season. We don't hunt doves, but duck and goose season is right around the corner as well. Now that it's fall time frame, so like I said, I'm going to be busy doing a lot of hunting, a lot of filming of those huntings. So if you want to follow my other YouTube channel, I'll actually pop that in the link in the description down below. But this channel is going to be strictly kind of for our building of the house, our family life, vacations. If we do any vacations, I'll always be filming those and putting them on this channel. And then I will keep the Jordan Mowbray channel for strictly dam related stuff. Wow, this stuff is thick. It's crazy that I actually drove my truck through here not too long ago. A lot of these weeds knocked them down. So we'll actually probably go ahead. I will throw the drone up in the air very soon, but now we're finally up here to this edge of the property where we will be cutting grass. I keep saying edge of the property. It's all our property, but it's the edge of where we're planning on putting grass. So this is kind of the front edge here, and right back there where I just came from was going to be the back edge. Be a lot easier to see with the drone up in the air. I'll fly over, kind of show where the house is going to be, where the edges of the property are going to be, maybe where the pond is, and then talk through a little bit of that on the schematic.
Thanks for watching. As always, make sure you leave a like on this video. Also, any comments, questions, leave those down below as well. I read them all. And you know, we got a lot of new videos coming up, like I keep saying, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, and until the next one, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching, and make sure you hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. Also, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next videos I will be posting, and leave your questions, comments, and suggestions below.